If you are a first time viewer, welcome back. If you are a returning viewer, personal readings are open. If you would like to book a personal reading with me, you can find that information in the description box below. So, the message that I received today is using the dead leaves from the fallen tree as compost to fertilize the soil, right? So, being more comfortable with letting things that are no longer working for your benefit, things that are no longer encouraging your growth, right? Being comfortable with moving on and disconnecting yourself from those people, those ideas, those habits, just energies or frequencies that are keeping you in a place of stagnancy, right? And using that energy to boost your motivation, use that as a sense of inspiration in order to encourage your growth, right? So, again, dead leaves that are connected to the tree um, drain more energy from the main source of the tree, right? Because the tree is expending more energy trying to keep those dead leaves alive, right? Whereas if you were to cut them off and use them as fertilizer for the soil, those dead leaves contain nutrients that will feed the soil and help the tree to continue to grow and flourish in a healthy state, right? So knowing how to recycle your energy, knowing how to use what is no longer working for you for your good, right? So let's pull some cards. What message do you have for the collective at this time? Help me to articulate a clear and concise message in order for it to be received in the way that you want it to best be received. Help me to see what it is that I need to see to get the message across as clear as possible. And help me to deliver any messages that you deem worthy in order to serve your highest good, for the highest good of humanity, with harm to none. What message do you have for the collective at this time? What message do you have for the collective at this time? We have face your fears, drunk with love, and balanced life with slow down to relax at the bottom of the deck. So definitely the energy of giving and receiving, definitely the energy of give and take, balance energy, right? Life and death. It speaks to transformation, going from one state to another state, right? Going from a liquid to a solid, going from, it just speaks to moving from one frequency to another, from one state of being to another state of being, right? So definitely farewell to your fear phantoms. Let love lift you to freedom. Love seeks your well-being and break to enjoy the beauty around you, right? So understanding that life is a continuous cycle of transformation and change, right? Life is a continuous cycle of things going from one state of being to another state of being, to transforming into another state of being, right? So definitely being aware that if you are holding on to something that is no longer to your benefit, it is okay to let it go, because continuing to hold on to something that is not necessarily healthy for you is only going to drain you of your life source, right? It's not going to be able to provide you any sense of life source, because it is no long it doesn't carry that life source within itself. Whereas if you take that thing that does not have a life source within itself, and you repurpose it in a way that it can be a life source in another way, then you can continuously encourage growth and expansion within yourself, right? So definitely being mindful, definitely, this is almost the energy of meditation, right? Kind of finding the balance of giving and receiving, kind of finding the balance of being comfortable within the changes of life, being comfortable with the frequency of the ebb and flow, right? The frequency of change, the frequency of having to go from one state of being to another, right? Sometimes we get so comfortable with things being one certain way, or things, we get comfortable in a certain mindset or practicing certain habits that we don't necessarily realize that they're no longer encouraging our growth, but it's just a continuous cycle that is going in a loop, right? The cycle is not moving forward, it's just staying consistent in one specific area, right? And that is not healthy. Not to say that stability and security is not healthy, because it is, but holding on to things that are no longer serving your growth is not stability, and it is not security, right? So definitely being mindful about the difference between the two, right? Being conscious of what it means to be stagnant, being conscious of what it means to be safe, and being conscious of what it means to be stable and secure, right? Those all have different meanings. So you have to be aware of the things or the habits, the mindsets, the people that you're surrounding yourself with. You have to be mindful and aware of connections that feel safe and secure, not just what you're comfortable in, but where you truly feel safe in being open, in being vulnerable, in not restricted within your growth and expansion, right? And so you also have to be aware of the things that you're holding on to, the mindsets, the habits that just feel comfortable, right? And they are not necessarily stable, because it doesn't necessarily create a sense of security within yourself, right? It doesn't necessarily encourage your growth, because in order for something to be truly secure, it keeps you grounded in a way that encourages your growth, right? Think about the roots of the tree. The roots of the tree become grounded in the soil. They become firmly rooted in order for the tree to remain stable enough in order to continue to grow above ground, right? So definitely being aware of the difference between stagnancy, stability, safety, and security, right? So let's pull some tarot to see what comes out. What deck do I want to use? I don't necessarily want to. Maybe we will use this one. Let's just go ahead and use this because it's already out and it's right here at my fingertips. And I wasn't particularly feeling drawn to another deck, and specifically. So clarify, face your fears. And yeah, definitely accepting that energy of unconditional love, right? Learning what it means to truly live in a sense of unconditional love, right? That means that whatever state you are existing in, I accept you, whether I choose to continue to remain within that frequency, right? Or whether I continue to appreciate the frequency that you're existing in, all the while not having to maintain a connection to it. Clarify, face your fears. Clarify, face your fears. We have the Empress card, yeah. The Three of Cups. And the Tower at the bottom of the deck. So definitely being aware of the type of connections that you are attracting, the type of relationships that you are investing in, right? The Three of Cups speaks to relationships. It speaks to emotional connections. Now, this does not have to be an emotional connection to a person. It can be, but again, this is a general reading. So, in order for you to understand how, I mean, you have to know yourself to know how it relates to you personally. But if you would like to go deeper into how this message resonates with you personally, feel free to book a personal reading and we can go deeper. But again, the Three of Cups speaks to emotional connection. So maybe you have an emotional connection towards a mindset because you were raised to have a certain belief, right? Maybe you have an emotional connection to certain habits because certain habits became coping mechanisms from an experience that you had to go through, right? Maybe you have an emotional connection towards a job because it's tied to your beliefs, or maybe you have an emotional connection towards a person, whether that be romantic, friendships, business partnerships, right? Again, so this is just definitely speaking to being more aware and having faith, right, that you will attract who it is that you are, right? So trusting and having faith that whatever it is that you're working to create, whatever foundations you are building on, is what will be created based off of the energy that you're putting into it. I hope that made sense, right? Because the energy speaks to attraction, right? It speaks to the creation of a life source, right? The Empress is she's every woman, right? She has the ability to use or use different facets or different lessons that she's learned to apply them in certain situations when they're needed, right? So she has that sense of discernment with the Queen of Swords. She has a sense of awareness. She's very witty. She's very smart, intelligent, but also very discerning, and she's not afraid to cut things off when it's time to let them go, right? She's the one who holds the sword, and she's not afraid to use it. But the Empress also can be the Queen of Wands, who's very confident. She's very courageous. She's very beautiful. She has the energy to attract whatever it is that she wants, that she desires to manifest, right? The Empress also represents the Queen of Cups, which is that mothering energy. She's very loving. She's very caring. She's very nurturing, right? She has that ability to really empathize with whoever it is that connects to her. And she's also the Queen of Pentacles, who has the ability to create a sense of resource and abundance for herself, that also has the ability to feed the world around her, right? So the Empress represents every woman. She has the ability to attract and transform herself within these energies whenever she feels necessary, right? So definitely being aware of your ability to create, being aware of the sense of life source that you have within you, and using that sense of awareness, using that sense of enlightenment, and knowing when it is time to let things fall, and knowing how to transform those dead leaves to fertilize the soil, right? That's definitely what this feels like. Give me something on this Three of Cups. What is this emotional connection? The Page of Wands. Something, it's a desire, something that you feel passionate about. And look, the Queen of Wands. Something that, again, something that you feel passionate about, something that you're, look, death and rebirth, transformation. Using those dead leaves to fertilize the soil, right? So again, this emotional connection is definitely related to something that you're creating. Is something that you feel confident in, whether that be you feel confident within creating a family, or you feel confident within building a business, or you feel confident within creating a stable and safe home environment for yourself. Whatever it is that you're creating for yourself at this time, whatever it is that you are in this energy of transforming, right? Turning a house into a home, or turning yourself into a mother, or turning yourself into a father, or turning again like an employee to going from an employee to the CEO. There's definitely the energy here of transforming. There's an emotional connection to your passionate desires. So being more aware of the fact that you have the ability to create the life that you desire, right? You are in control of the things or the life that you create around you. It is you who has to overcome your challenges. It is you who has to be honest and truthful with yourself about what it is that you feel fearful of within moving forward, within letting go of something, right? Releasing, maybe you're releasing an emotional attachment to not being grounded or not being disciplined within achieving these desires, right? So clarify drunk with love. Yeah, the devil and the 3 of Wands with the moon at the bottom of the deck. So definitely being more aware of your fears, being more aware of the things or the visions that you are allowing yourself to hold you back, right? Give me something on this devil. What is it that is causing this sense of fear? The Knight of Pentacles with the 8 of Pentacles. Feeling like your work may be in vain, right? Feeling like you're planting seeds, feeling like you're putting in all of this work and you're not necessarily seeing the fruit of your labor, right? So definitely it's almost as if you're trying to be mindful about remaining in a conscious state, right? Remaining in a state where you don't feel like you are in this dreamy energy, right? Where it almost feels like an illusion because your faith is not strong enough to believe that your dreams do come true, right? Dreams do have the ability to come true, right? With the 3 of Wands here is setting that expectation, but also having that sense of hesitation within your fears that all of your efforts will be for nothing, right? You are using all these tools, you're planting all of these seeds, you're making all of this efforts, you're indulging on all of these transformations. But this is also the energy here of being mindful not to feed your fears also, right? Not to overthink, not to sit in the energy of imagining all of the things that can go wrong, right? Because if you envision all of the things that will go wrong within this creation, you will manifest them into your reality because that is what you're focusing on. So definitely be mindful about what aspects of your manifestation are you focusing on, because if you continue to focus on your fears, the things that are holding you back, then you will just manifest those fears into your reality. But also being mindful not to completely obsess over what it is that you're trying to manifest, right? So you have to remain in this balanced state, right? Again, that's why I've said it before, to maintain the Empress energy is not something that every person has the ability to achieve, right? Because it is such a difficult energy to maintain, because you have to know how to transform between all 4 queens at any given point in time, right? You have to remain in that balanced state of not overthinking about your fears, but also being willing to being honest and acknowledging them, right? Being willing to face them. You have to continuously put effort and continuously pour into the vision that you see or that you want to bring to life, but also keeping in mind not to completely obsess over it, because obsessing over it mentally means that you're not pouring enough energy into it physically, right? So definitely remaining in that sense of balanced state between having the faith that your desires will come true, but also maintaining that energy of actively putting in the work and not sitting in that energy of fear, shame, obsession, addiction, right? Clarify balanced life. I'll bring this down here so it's in the view. Clarify balanced life. The Five of Cups. Yeah. Again, with the Hermit card and the Seven of Wands, right? So again, being mindful not to sit in that energy of shoulda, coulda, woulda, right? But give me something on this Five of Cups. The Two of Pentacles with the Tower. The Tower came back out. Remember, it was at the bottom of the deck over here. So yeah, remaining in that balanced state of not crying over spilled milk, right? Not being in that sense of manifesting out of a place of revenge. Being mindful not to manifest something out of a place of resentment, or not bringing your resentment with you from your past experiences into your new reality, right? There, you have to be very conscious about what you're manifesting, how you're manifesting it, and how it is going to affect where you are currently, and how your past is also affecting your future, right? So you definitely have to remain in this balanced energy. I'm also sensing an energy here of not going back and forth on your boundaries, right? Remaining firm within the boundaries that you set. Because if you set a boundary for yourself, and then you go back on your word for the boundary that you have set, be mindful of why you placed that boundary for yourself in the first place. Because if you are not mindful of moving the goalpost of these boundaries, you'll just place yourself back into the energy in which you're trying to get out of. I'm hoping that's making sense, right? So if you tear something down, if you let something go, if you transform yourself in a way that puts you in a different position from where you were previously, be mindful of the changes that you made, right? The butterfly cannot go back to being a worm, right? The butterfly cannot live in the same habitat that the worm did, right? Once the worm transforms into the butterfly, it is the same being, it's the same person, it's the same energetic source, but the environment that those two forms of itself exist in are completely different. So be mindful of not trying to exist as a butterfly in the environment that the worm would, right? Remain firm on the boundaries that you have set for yourself, because those boundaries were placed there for a reason. And so if you are no longer vibrating on that frequency, if you are no longer existing within that reality, then keep in mind that trying to place yourself back in that same environment within this new transformation is only going to, it's not going to feed you, it's not going to nourish you, it's not going to encourage your growth, because they were two different existences within your life, right? Even though I don't know how else to make that any simpler. I'm hoping that makes sense as clearly as I'm trying to put it into words how I'm seeing it, but it's kind of hard to. But yeah, definitely just being mindful of who you are, who you've grown into being, and being aware of the environments that contribute to your growth and your expansion. Being firm within this transformation that you have set for yourself, and remain faithful to yourself. Remain faithful to your spirit. Remain faithful to who it is that you are desiring to become. Remain faithful within who it is that you're working, what it is that you're working hard to achieve, right? Because taking those steps backwards is only, in a sense, an example of you betraying yourself, you not being honest with yourself, and you not creating a safe and secure environment within your own being, right? So let's pull 4 cards to close this message out. We'll pull 1 card for what is the major lesson that we can learn regarding this message. 1 card for what we can create regarding this message. 1 card for what we can meditate on as the focus of this message, and 1 card for new habits and cycles that we can innovate in order to continue our growth and expansion regarding this message. So 1 card for what we can learn. Adversity, with imagination at the bottom of the deck. Don't learn to not let your mind take you into places that will cause you to remain stuck, right? I accept that challenges are the best way to learn, and I embrace and nourish the creative aspect of my mind, right? So being confident in the things that you're trying to create, right? That Empress energy, remaining faithful in yourself, that just because you had to overcome certain challenges and experiences, that does not mean that your journey is over, or that you don't have the necessary resources in order to create the life that you're desiring, right? That just means that you have to be a little bit more creative with how you create this life that you're desiring, right? That just means you have to use your imagination in how you are going to maintain and sustain this new environment that you are desiring to exist in, right? Whether that be a new mindset, whether that be a new lifestyle, whether that be a new circle of friends, whether that be a new career choice, right? It's going to resonate for each of you differently, but definitely acknowledging, because these 2 cards look the same, do they not? This is like third eye energy, right? Trusting your intuition, having faith that you're being guided in the right direction, and having faith that everything that you have went through, everything that you have experienced, every lesson that you have learned is for your benefit and not for your demise. You have not experienced challenges just to experience some sort of trauma, right? Life does not put or place you in these situations of transformation to punish you. Life does not desire to punish you. It just seeks to place you in situations that will transform you into a way that will help you to feel more free, more safe, and secure within who you are as a being, right? Again, I'm going to refer to the worm transforming into the butterfly, the caterpillar transforming into the butterfly, right? Life does not place that caterpillar in the cocoon to punish the caterpillar. No, it places them in that cocoon in order to give them wings to be free and to fly, right? The caterpillar does not have as much room to explore and discover as the butterfly does, right? Because the caterpillar only has legs, whereas the butterfly has wings, so it can fly longer distances. It can fly to different places, right? So again, life does not place you in these lessons in order to punish you. It puts these lessons in your life in order to give you a better sense of freedom, a better sense of self-awareness of who you are, and a better sense of acknowledgement of where you're desiring to go. So 1 card for what we can create. 1 card for what we can create. Pride with peace. You can create that sense of self-awareness. You can create that sense of confidence within your self-identity. You can create that sense of acceptance of yourself, right? Accept the fact that you will have to experience that time in the cocoon more than once within this reality, more than once within this lifetime. Again, nothing that is alive or nothing that has a life source remains stagnant within this lifetime, within this reality. If you are alive, if you are living life to its fullest potential within the life source that is provided to you, you are consistently going to experience growth and change within this reality. So definitely being confident within the fact that you are not the trauma that you had to go through. You are not defined by the things that you feel shameful about, but use those experiences to help build your confidence in who it is that you're desiring to become, right? Maybe you were raised to have certain beliefs that do not fit your personal beliefs, and that's okay, right? Use that energy to form the mindset that feels healthy and safe and secure to you, right? So definitely having more confidence in being firm in your self-identity, having the courage to live in your true authenticity and living in the genuineness of who you are and who you're desiring to be, right? One card for what we can meditate on. We have patience and imagination is back at the bottom of the deck. So definitely meditate on the fact that you have to have grace within yourself. Meditate on some things that you may need to forgive yourself for, right? Meditate on what it is or where it is you're desiring to go once you gain your wings, right? Once you are released from this cocoon, once you experience the freedom from this transformation, where do you desire to go, right? And also placing yourself in the energy of being comfortable in the process of transformation, right? Being comfortable within the process of growing, right? It again, I'm like being drawn to like the cocoon, right? Because inside the cocoon, when the caterpillar is transforming into the butterfly, it turns into liquid, right? The whole inside of the whole caterpillar disintegrates inside of the cocoon and turns into a liquid in order for its DNA to restructure and its cells and its fibers to restructure into the form of the butterfly, right? So allowing yourself to be like water, right? Allowing yourself to take the shape of whatever transformation you're being called to make, and not being so firm in remaining in one formation of life. I hope that makes sense, right? But being more open to different perspectives, being more open to different forms of transformation, and being more open to different areas of growth that you may need to experience in order to get to where it is that you're trying to go. One card for what we can innovate. Abundance. Abundance, abundance, abundance with peace is back at the bottom of the deck. Now, that's twice that has happened, right? Within the same. Okay, so abundance. I am a limitless being, and I can manifest whatever I desire in this physical reality. I am a being of love, and I release all negative energy. So innovate ways in which you can live in this sense of freedom, live in this existence of abundance, right? Abundance comes in all forms of currency, right? Not just financial currency, not just physical money, but abundance comes in the form of any type of currency that can be exchanged from one form into another. So that's peace, that is your faith, that is love, right? That is wealth, that's your time, right? So abundance comes in the form of wealth. And wealth comes in the form of currency. Currency comes in the form of time. Currency comes in the form of peace, love, right? So definitely acknowledging the fact that you don't have to have abundance is not receiving a large amount in one form of currency. Abundance is having a balanced amount of currency in many different forms, right? So definitely be mindful of how you can create those multiple forms of currency within your life instead of focusing on one specific form. I hope that makes sense. But that is the message that I have for you guys. I hope that it resonated. I know that it will. If you found this message, you will find something that is valuable to you. Have a good one. Bye.